talking about a strong spirit, your strong spirit and what we're talking about now, your soul, your resilience and toughness are so notable. You know, your dad kicked you out, you were homeless at one stage. Could you tell us a little bit about the experiences that shaped the aspects of your personality? Like what made you, because I know you went into sales too, so I want to get into what made you start your own business? How did you get started with that?
So growing up, I think since I became like a super pretty boy at a young age, my mom loved me so much that it took a lot of love away from my dad and a lot of the attention away from my dad. So he couldn't stand me anymore. At that point in time, he would just treat me very bad all the time. Whether it's to like push me around, kick me, yell at me, tell me that I wasn't going to be anything, that I'm ugly, that I'm nothing like him. And that's I'm talking about at the age of 6, 5. And growing up like that, with a lot of stress from my own dad, my dad waking up at 6 in the morning and coming, either throwing water in my face to wake up or yell at me or curse at me, it was a very difficult childhood. But I was somebody that was fighting back. I wasn't somebody who just stood quiet. I fought back. At the age of 13, I got into a fist fight with my dad and I left the house for the first time. At the age of 17, I realized that my dad is my biggest enemy and now I have to go and prove him that I'm going to be way better than him.
Wow.
But, when I got older, I went back and thought about, well, how was he raised? Well, the way he was raised was way worse than the way he raised me, which hurt him a lot. So he's not as powerful as I am of an individual. He never worked out in his life. He went more towards smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, for 40 years, and that's all he did. He was a very good hustler, but at the same time, he never trained his body. He never trained his mental state to be stronger than everybody else's. You could put me in a hole. I've been in a hole for 2 weeks. I didn't know when I was going to come out. There was nothing that could stop me. I don't care if I'm going to die right now, so what could stop me? I don't praise death, I praise life. I'm all about living and enjoying life and helping others. But at the same time, my time will come at some point. It doesn't matter to me if it comes now or later. So I have no fear. I was diagnosed with no fear since I was like 6 years old. My parents took me to the doctor and they were like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Why is he like jumping up and down? First of all, why do we find him on the tallest building in our city, looking down and trying to do a handstand, or holding himself on the edge of the damn building, or trees, and go up to the tallest trees and hang from the top of the tree? If I fall down, I die. There wasn't any way to live after that. But in my mind, I didn't see any fear. So when my dad was being tough on me, at some point in time, I realized I wish he was even tougher, because I realized that that's where my power came from. When I go into the gym and I lift weights, well, if I'm going to bench press the same amount of weight for the next year, it's not going to do anything. The reason there's more weights to put on the bar is so it gets harder and harder and you get stronger and stronger. So if my dad was even worse with me, I would probably be even stronger because of the kind of soul that I am and the individual that I am. I'm the guy that fights back. I was not a survivor. I was a warrior. I didn't survive anything. Anyone who faced me, they were the survivors. My dad is a survivor, because I could have taken him out any second.
Yeah.
I was the warrior. And he'll say that till today. He'll say, Ben could have taken me out any second. I was a very dangerous individual as a teenager. My mom went through cancer when I was 16, and at that point in time, I was ready to really go. So I was doing all these underground fights, and I was fighting for the mafia and doing things that people can't dream of doing. And people called me like a menace to society, because wherever I went, if somebody looked at me, I would say, hey, is there a problem? But if there is a problem, we'll solve it here. We're not going to talk about it later. We'll solve it right here, right now. And as a 16-year-old boy, fighting guys that are 25, 30, 35, 40, beating them up, and then them asking how old I am and me saying I'm 16, and then they all wanted to be my friends. So then I built like a huge community of men that were counting on me, although they were in their 40s. And they were like, wow, this is the kind of person we want next to us, because in 4 or 5 years, he's going to rule town.
Wow.
At some point in time, the biggest mafia people had a hit on me because they said, that guy right there, that kid, he's an extremely dangerous individual. He will rise, and when he rises, he's going to take us out. So for a while, I was like, well, I have to be homeless anyways, because people are out looking for me. It is what it is. Let's see who finds who first. And that was my mentality. And I think that's the mentality that most men had back thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Right? People like Alexander the Great, he was 16 when he went to rule the world. He went and started battling to control the world. He won all the battles and was the king and crowned the king of the world. You have people like Genghis Khan, who killed 60 million people. Did he think I was going to stop at any point in time? No, he wanted to rule the world. You have a guy that nobody even talks about. He was a king from India. His name is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. He was a king. He's more like me. I'm the guy that would never hurt someone who's a good person. But I'm the guy that will kindly and be more than happy to hurt someone who's a bad person who wants to hurt good people. So I'm more of a protector. There is good and there is bad in the world, of course. And a lot of people say, well, the world is the worst it's ever been. And I don't think so. I think the world is probably the best it's ever been. It's just the softest it's ever been. Because thousands of years ago, or hundreds of years ago, people were still fighting for land. And when they were fighting for land, they would come into a place, they would rape the women, they would kill the children, they would kill all the husbands, all the men, take everybody's resources and the land, and keep the women if they like them, or kill them as well. If you said you're a witch, they used to burn you. So nowadays, you don't really have that.